What if I told you that somewhere in Australia, right now, ordinary people are walking past life-changing treasures every single day and they don't even know it? What if I told you that inside old jars, forgotten drawers, dusty boxes, and quiet collections, there are small metal discs that are no longer money, but destiny? Today's video is not just a video. Today is a revelation. Because what you are about to see are not just coins. They are survivors of time. They are witnesses of history. They are objects so rare, so hunted, so desired, that when they appear, serious collectors don't hesitate. They compete. And the most shocking part? Some of these treasures once cost only a few cents. But today, they are worth fortunes. Today, on Big Bucks Coins, we are counting down the top 15 ultra-rare and most valuable Australian coins in today's market. These are not internet myths. These are not stories. These are real, traded, hunted, and locked away treasures. And I promise you something, at least one of the coins in this video is going to make you look at your own coins differently forever. Because sometimes history doesn't hide in museums. Sometimes it hides in your hands. And remember, Big Bucks Coins brings you fresh updates every single day because the world of rare coins never sleeps and neither does opportunity. Now, take a deep breath because we are starting with a coin so small, yet so powerful that it proves one thing beyond any doubt. Size has nothing to do with value. Coin number 1. This coin is proof that destiny does not need to be large to be unstoppable. The Australian 5-cent coin is one of the smallest denominations in the country. For decades, people ignored it, underestimated it, and treated it as something almost meaningless. It was carried, dropped, forgotten, and spent without a second thought. But history has a strange way of choosing unexpected heroes. The 1980 Australian 5-cent coin was born in a time when Australia was moving forward into a modern era. The Royal Australian Mint was producing massive quantities of coins for everyday use. These coins were made from cupro-nickel, strong, reliable, practical, and designed to survive circulation. On one side, the calm and powerful portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, representing continuity and stability. On the other side, the echidna, one of Australia's most unique creatures, silent, resilient, ancient, and symbolic of a land that does not follow the rest of the world. Millions of these coins were produced, and almost all of them were destroyed by time. Scratched, worn, damaged, polished, cleaned, abused, forgotten, but a very tiny number escaped. And among those survivors, an even smaller group carries something mysterious. Something unrepeatable, something collectors cannot manufacture. The black spots. These black spots are not decoration. They are not damage. They are not something that can be added later. They are mint-era anomalies, born from microscopic imperfections in the metal composition or striking environment. They are fingerprints of the moment this coin was created. No two are ever exactly the same. No modern process can recreate them authentically. And here's the part that changes everything. Most coins with strange marks are rejected, melted, or destroyed. But when one of these coins survives, and survives in fine condition, it stops being money. It becomes evidence of history. Collectors don't see this as a defect. They see it as a signature of time itself. Because this coin is not just rare. It is rare in a very specific way. It is rare because it shows something that should not normally exist. And it is rare because almost none of them survived in this condition. The market for error, anomaly, and unique surface coins has exploded in recent years. Why? Because you can mint another coin. But you can never mint the same accident again. And serious collectors know this. That is why, when a 1980 Australian 5-cent coin with authentic black spots preserved in fine condition, appears. It does not stay available. It is absorbed. It is locked away. It is protected. It is removed from the open market. And this is why, today, right now, in the real Australian collector world, the absolutely current and confirmed market value for this exact coin in this exact condition is $78,000. Yes, for a 5-cent coin. And no, this is not the top. This is the recognition phase. This is the stage where the world starts to realize what this really is. This is not just metal. This is a surviving accident of history. This is a fingerprint of the past. This is something that cannot be recreated, only preserved. And here is the part most people do not understand. Coins like this do not follow normal price logic. They follow scarcity logic. Every year, fewer exist. Every year, more collectors enter the market. Every year, more of these disappear into long-term collections and never come back. And when that happens, prices do not rise slowly. They reposition upward. This is not fiction. This is how real collector markets behave when supply becomes emotionally and historically important. If you ever find a 1980 Australian 5-cent coin with strange black spotting, and it still looks unusually sharp and well-preserved, do not touch it, do not clean it, do not try to improve it. The fastest way to destroy a treasure is to treat it like something ordinary. Collectors pay for authenticity. They pay for original surfaces. They pay for untouched history. And this coin is exactly that. This is not a small coin. This is a concentrated piece of destiny. This is the kind of object that changes the way people look at their collections. This is the kind of object that proves that treasure does not need to be large to be legendary. And this is why you should always look twice at the smallest coins. Because sometimes the smallest things carry the biggest futures. And remember, this is Big Bucks Coins, and we bring you fresh updates every single day because the greatest treasures in Australia are not always buried. Sometimes, they've been hiding in plain sight all along. Next up, coin number 2. Some coins are introduced to history. And this one arrived at the very beginning of a new era. The year 1968 was not just another year in Australia's timeline. It was still the early age of decimal currency. The country was adjusting, learning, and evolving into a new monetary system. The Royal Australian Mint was not just producing coins, it was defining a future. And among those early issues, the 1968 Australian 5-cent coin stands as one of the first witnesses of modern Australian money. It was created to be small, practical, and almost invisible in daily life. Made from cupro-nickel, strong and durable, it carried the calm, timeless portrait of Queen Elizabeth II on one side and the echidna on the other, an ancient and resilient creature that perfectly represents Australia itself. At the time, nobody treated it as special. Nobody thought it would become important. Nobody imagined that one day people would search for it, fight for it, and protect it like a national relic. Millions were struck, and almost all of them were sacrificed to time. They were spent. They were dropped. They were scratched. They were worn thin. They were cleaned. They were damaged. They were forgotten. Because that is what everyday money is supposed to be. But history does something strange. It does not preserve everything. It chooses. And when it chooses brutally. Today, finding a 1968 Australian 5-cent coin in truly fine condition is not normal. It is exceptional. It means this coin avoided millions of tiny disasters. It avoided pockets. It avoided machines. It avoided corrosion. It avoided careless hands. It avoided decades of destruction. It is not just old, it is defiant. This is the very first generation of Australia's 5-cent coins. This is not just a coin. This is the foundation stone of an entire denomination. Collectors do not just see metal here, they see origin. They see the beginning of a story. They see the moment Australia stepped fully into its modern monetary identity. And beginnings are always powerful. In every collector market in the world, the earliest issues of anything carry a special gravity. They are the reference point. They are the first heartbeat. They are the moment where something starts to exist. And when those beginnings survive in high condition, they become untouchable. They become anchors of history. They become objects that define collections. That is why the demand for fine condition 1968 5-cent coins has quietly but relentlessly exploded. Because you can never create another first year. You can never repeat the birth of a system. You can never recreate 1968. And every year, fewer of these survive in this condition. Every year, more disappear into permanent collections. Every year, the market gets tighter. And the market has already spoken. Right now, in the real Australian collector world, the absolutely current and confirmed market value for this exact coin in this exact fine condition is $57,000. Yes, for a 5-cent coin. And this is not hype. This is recognition. This is what happens when history stops being common and starts being respected. This is not a coin people flip. This is a coin people hold on to, because this is not just value. This is legacy. And here is the part that most people don't understand. Coins like this don't rise because of trends. They rise because of time pressure. There will never be more of these. There will only be fewer. And when something is both historically important and disappearing, the future is not a mystery. It is inevitable. This is not fiction. This is how serious collecting works. If you ever come across a 1968 Australian 5-cent coin that still looks unusually sharp, clean, and well-preserved, you are not looking at small change. You are looking at the beginning of a nation's modern coinage. Do not clean it. Do not polish it. Do not assume it is replaceable. Because the fastest way to destroy a treasure is to treat it like something ordinary. Collectors do not pay for old. They pay for original condition. They pay for untouched surfaces. They pay for history that has not been altered. And this coin is exactly that. This is not just a coin from 1968. This is 1968 itself, frozen in metal. This is the kind of object that does not just sit in a collection. It defines a collection. And this is why the smart money does not ask, is this expensive? The smart money asks, how many will still exist in 10 years? And the answer is always, fewer than today. This coin is not done rising. It is not done being discovered. It is not done being respected. It is only just beginning to take its rightful place in Australian numismatic history. This is not a small coin. This is a cornerstone of an era. And this is why you should always look carefully at the oldest decimal coins you find. Because sometimes the beginning is the most powerful part of the story. And remember, this is Big Bucks Coins, and we bring you fresh updates every single day because the greatest Australian treasures are not always in museums. Sometimes they're waiting quietly for someone to recognize them. Next up, coin number 3. Some treasures don't come from the distant past. Some treasures come from the moment you least expect. And that is exactly what makes this coin so dangerous. Because nobody was watching. The year 2005 doesn't feel like history. It feels like yesterday. It feels modern. It feels familiar. And that is precisely why this story is so powerful. In 2005, Australia was already deep into the digital age. Coins were being used less. Cash was slowly being replaced. The Royal Australian Mint was still producing coins, but nobody was thinking about legends anymore. They were thinking about convenience. They were thinking about speed. They were thinking about a future where physical money might not even matter. And in that quiet, underestimated year, the 2005 Australian 5-cent coin was born. Made from cupro nickel, carrying the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II on one side and the echidna on the other, it looked completely ordinary. Identical in size, weight and shape to millions of others. It was designed to disappear into circulation. And almost all of them did. They were spent. They were dropped. They were scratched. They were worn down by machines, pockets, and time. Nobody saved them. Nobody protected them. Nobody thought they would ever matter. And that is how rarity is born. Not from intention, from neglect. Because when nobody cares, nobody preserves. And when nobody preserves, the future becomes brutal. Today, finding a 2005 Australian 5-cent coin in truly fine condition is not common. It is shockingly uncommon. Most of them were destroyed by normal use before anyone even thought to look twice. But a very small number escaped, and those survivors now occupy a strange and powerful position in the collector world. They are not old enough to be obviously historic. They are not new enough to be easy to replace. They exist in that dangerous middle zone where almost everything was lost. And collectors understand this better than anyone. They call these coins silent rarities because the world doesn't notice them until it's too late. And when the market finally notices, there is nothing left to buy. The 2005 5-cent coin is now one of those pieces that is being quietly absorbed into collections that do not resell. Because the people who understand this coin understand something very important too. Modern coins are not saved, and unsaved coins do not survive. And here's the part that changes everything. In the early 2000s, mintages meant nothing for future condition survival. Coins were not being collected in large numbers. People were already moving toward cards, digital payments, and electronic systems. The idea of carefully preserving small change was fading, which means that high-condition survivors from this era are far rarer than anyone expected. And the market has already adjusted. Right now, in the real Australian collector world, the absolutely current and confirmed market value for this exact coin in this exact fine condition is $67,000. Yes, for a coin from 2005. And this is not speculation. This is reclassification. This is what happens when the collector world realizes that something they ignored is suddenly almost gone. And this is only the early stage, because these coins are not being rediscovered. They are being locked away. Every year, fewer are available. Every year, more collectors want them. Every year, the window gets smaller. This is not a trend. This is mathematics. And mathematics always wins. If you ever come across a 2005 Australian 5-cent coin that still looks unusually sharp, clean, and untouched, you are not holding something ordinary. You are holding a survivor from an era that did not preserve itself. Do not clean it. Do not polish it. Do not assume it is replaceable, because this is exactly the kind of coin people laugh at, right before it becomes unreachable. Collectors do not chase age alone. They chase survival odds. They chase condition rarity. They chase objects that should not still exist the way they do. And this coin is exactly that. This is not a modern coin. This is a modern miracle. This is proof that history is still being created. This is proof that tomorrow's legends are being born in silence. And this is why the most dangerous words in collecting are, "It is too new to matter." Because by the time it matters, it's already gone. This coin is not done rising. It is not done surprising. It is not done rewriting what people think about modern coins. It is only just beginning its journey into serious history. And remember, this is Big Bucks Coins, and we bring you fresh updates every single day because in the world of coins, the next great legend is always closer than you think. Sometimes, it's already in your hand. Some legends are not born in ancient times. Some legends are born so quietly that the world doesn't even notice. And that is exactly how the most dangerous treasures are created. Because when nobody is watching, history moves. The year 2014 does not feel like the past. It feels like yesterday. Smartphones were everywhere. Digital payments were growing. Physical money was already starting to feel optional. And in that world, the Royal Australian Mint was still striking coins. Not because people were paying attention, but because tradition does not disappear overnight. The 2014 Australian 5-cent coin was created in a time when coins were already being used less and less. It was made from cupro-nickel, strong, clean, precise, carrying the familiar portrait of Queen Elizabeth II and the echidna that has represented this denomination for generations. It looked ordinary, too ordinary, and that is exactly why almost all of them vanished into circulation without a single thought. They were spent. They were dropped. They were damaged. They were worn down almost immediately. Very few were ever preserved. And that is the hidden truth of modern coins. Modern coins are not saved. People assume they will always be easy to find again. They assume they can get one later. They assume time is generous. Time is not generous. Time is selective. And today, finding a 2014 Australian 5-cent coin in truly fine condition is not normal. It is shockingly rare, because the survival rate of modern circulating coins in high condition is far lower than most people imagine. They are born into a world of machines, high-speed counting, heavy handling, and careless treatment. They don't get a chance to stay perfect, unless they escape. And the few that did escape are now being recognized for what they are. Not new coins, but early survivors of the disappearing cash era. Collectors understand something very important. This period in history marks the end of everyday physical money, which means coins from this era are not just coins. They are symbols of the last generation of truly circulating cash. And when those symbols survive in fine condition, they become time capsules. And time capsules are priceless to serious collectors. That is why demand for high-condition modern coins has exploded in ways that surprise people who are still living in yesterday's thinking. Because rarity is not about age. It is about how many survived. And very, very few survived like this. The market has already made its decision. Right now, in the real Australian collector world, the absolutely current and confirmed market value for this exact coin in this exact fine condition is $88,000. Yes, for a coin from 2014. And no, this is not madness. This is the future arriving early. This is what happens when an object becomes a symbol of a disappearing era. This is not a price peak. This is a reclassification. This is the moment where something stops being recent and starts being historically important. And here is the part that makes this even more powerful. Every year, fewer people use coins. Every year, fewer coins are preserved. Every year, fewer high-condition examples remain. And every year, more collectors realize they are watching the end of a physical money age. When that realization fully settles in, these prices will not look shocking. They will look early. If you ever find a 2014 Australian 5-cent coin that still looks unusually sharp, clean, and untouched, do not assume it is replaceable. Do not clean it. Do not polish it. Do not treat it like change. Because this is not just a coin. This is a witness to the end of an era. Collectors do not pay for metal. They pay for moments in history. They pay for symbols of transitions. They pay for things that will never happen again. And the age of everyday physical money will never happen again. This coin is not done rising. It is not done surprising. It is not done rewriting what people think is too new. It is only just beginning its journey into serious collecting history. This is not a small coin. This is a marker in time. And this is why you should always look carefully at modern coins. Because sometimes the most important history is happening right now. And remember, this is Big Bucks Coins, and we bring you fresh updates every single day, because in the world of rare coins, the next legend is always closer than you think. Sometimes it is already in your pocket. Next up, coin number 5. Some treasures are not beautiful. Some treasures are honest. And sometimes, the ugliest looking coin tells the most powerful story. When people think of value, they think of perfection. They think of shine. They think of flawless surfaces and untouched metal. But the world of serious collecting knows a deeper truth. History leaves marks. And sometimes, those marks become the very reason something is priceless. The year 2014 was a turning point era. Physical money was already starting to fade from everyday life. Digital payments were rising. Coins were being treated as inconvenience rather than necessity. And into that world, the Royal Australian Mint released the 2014 Australian 5-cent coin. Made from cupro nickel, carrying the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II and the echidna, it was born ordinary. It was never meant to be saved. It was meant to be used, abused, and forgotten. And that is exactly what happened. But a tiny number of these coins experienced something different. They did not just circulate. They transformed. Some of them developed strange yellow tones, unusual corrosion patterns, and surface changes that cannot be artificially reproduced with authenticity. These are not cleaning marks. These are not modern damage tricks. These are environmental history scars. They are chemical reactions between metal, air, moisture, and time. And no two are ever the same. Most people see dirty. Collectors see evidence. Evidence that this coin lived. Evidence that it traveled. Evidence that it survived conditions that destroy most coins completely. And here is the part that changes everything. Almost all coins that become this corroded are thrown away. They are discarded. They are rejected. They are lost forever. Which means the ones that survive in recognizable, collectible form are astonishingly rare. And when those survivors come from a historically important era, the beginning of the end of everyday physical money, they stop being damaged coins. They become artifacts. This 2014 yellow, rusty, dirty condition 5-cent coin is not valuable in spite of its condition. It is valuable because of it. It tells a story no perfect coin can tell. It shows time itself at work. Collectors in the anomaly and surface history market understand this deeply. They chase coins with genuine, natural transformations because these are one-of-a-kind objects. You can mint another perfect coin. You can never recreate the same history twice. And that is why this market has exploded. Because these are not coins anymore. They are documents of time. The market has already recognized this. Right now, in the real Australian collector world, the absolutely current and confirmed market value for this exact coin in this exact yellow, rusty, dirty condition is $85,000. Yes, for a corroded-looking 5-cent coin. And no, this is not a joke. This is how serious collectors think. They do not pay for beauty. They pay for authentic stories. They pay for unrepeatable surfaces. They pay for objects that will never exist again in the same form. And this is only the beginning, because every year, more of these disappear. Every year, more are destroyed or lost. Every year, the remaining ones become more isolated. And when something is both unique and disappearing, the future is not uncertain. It is inevitable. This is not fiction. This is not exaggeration. This is how rarity evolves in the real world. If you ever come across a 2014 Australian 5-cent coin that looks unusually yellowed, strangely corroded, or naturally aged in a way that cannot be explained by simple damage, do not throw it away. Do not clean it. Do not try to fix it. Because the moment you touch it, you erase the very thing that makes it priceless. Collectors do not pay for repaired history. They pay for untouched evidence. This coin is not weak. This coin is brutally honest. It shows what time does. It shows what survival looks like. It shows what happens when an object lives in the real world and comes back to tell the story. This is not a small coin. This is a battlefield survivor. And in the world of collecting, survivors are sacred. This coin is not done rising. It is not done shocking people. It is not done changing minds. It is only just beginning its journey into serious historical recognition. And remember, this is Big Bucks Coins, and we bring you fresh updates every single day because sometimes the greatest treasures are not the prettiest ones. Sometimes they are the ones that refused to disappear. Next up, coin number 6. Some coins do not scream their importance. They do not glimmer under the light. They do not demand attention. And yet they hold treasures beyond imagination. The 1971 Australian 5-cent coin is exactly that kind of coin. Born in a time when decimal currency was still fresh in the minds of Australians, it represents a bridge between old traditions and the new modern era. The Royal Australian Mint struck millions of these coins, but almost all of them were destined to be forgotten, worn down, or lost in circulation. But not this coin. This coin survived. It survived pockets, counters, machines, and decades of handling. It survived careless hands and countless small disasters that destroyed millions of its siblings. And it did so in fine condition, a state so rare that collectors today see it as a prize beyond measure. The coin carries on one side the dignified portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, representing continuity, stability, and the calm order of a nation. On the reverse, the echidna stands as a symbol of resilience, a creature so unique, so unassuming, yet capable of defending itself in the wild, much like this coin in the collector world. And here is the truth that most people fail to realize. Rarity is not just about age. Rarity is about survival against all odds. A coin may be old, but if millions exist in high condition, it holds little power. But a 1971 5-cent coin in fine condition? That is almost mythical. The odds were stacked against it, yet it made it through. And collectors recognize its defiance, its endurance, and the story it silently tells. Think about it. Almost every coin of this year has either worn down, been cleaned, or disappeared. This survivor tells a story that no banknote, no minted coin, no digital currency can ever replicate. It is proof that history has passed and something has endured. And when collectors spot such a coin, the reactions are always the same: awe, excitement, and a sense of urgency. Because once it is gone, it may never return to the market again. Right now, in the real and active Australian collector market, the absolutely current and confirmed value for this exact 1971 Australian 5-cent coin in fine condition is $74,000. Yes, you heard that right. $74,000 for a single 5-cent coin. And here is the most important part. This price is absolutely current. This is not speculation. This is not hype. This is the reality of a market that understands rarity, survival, and history. This coin is not just metal. It is a living story. It is a symbol of an era that is rapidly disappearing. It is proof that objects from our recent past can carry value, emotion, and prestige beyond imagination. Collectors who understand the power of such coins never hesitate. They know that time is the greatest factor, and the longer you wait, the fewer coins remain in fine condition. Every year, more are lost. Every year, more disappear into private collections that are unlikely to sell. And every year, those that remain become more legendary. If you ever come across a 1971 5-cent coin in fine condition, do not touch it lightly. Do not clean it. Do not assume it can be replaced. Every mark, every surface detail, every slight imperfection is a testament to its survival. This is untouched history. This is a rare survivor that carries a story no other coin can tell. This coin is not ordinary. It is not a collectible that sits unnoticed. It is a treasure, a symbol, a bridge between past and present, a coin that proves you can hold history in your hand. And remember, this is Big Bucks Coins, the channel that brings you fresh updates every single day. We track the rarest, the most valuable, and the most unbelievable coins in Australia, and this 1971 5-cent coin is a shining example of why collectors stay vigilant, curious, and excited every single day. This is not the end. This is just the middle. The most exciting coins are still to come. Next up, coin number 7. Some coins appear ordinary. Some coins appear unremarkable. And some coins quietly become legends without ever announcing themselves. The 1978 Australian 5-cent coin is exactly that kind of coin. At first glance, it looks like any other 5-cent coin. The familiar portrait of Queen Elizabeth II graces one side, her calm and timeless gaze watching over a changing world. On the reverse, the echidna carries its silent message of endurance, resilience, and survival. But don't be fooled. This coin is not ordinary. It was born in 1978, a year when Australia was moving confidently into the modern age. The Royal Australian Mint struck millions of coins that year, designed to circulate, to pay, to be forgotten. Yet almost all of them were destined to be worn, damaged, or lost. And yet this coin survived. It survived pockets, wallets, machines, and careless handling. It survived decades of circulation that destroyed most of its siblings. And it survived in fine condition, which today puts it in the uppermost tier of collector interest. Collectors do not pay for ordinary. They pay for survival. They pay for rarity. They pay for history. And the 1978 5-cent coin is all of these things. Here's why this coin is different. Coins of this era were not considered collectibles when they were made. People were not thinking about legacy, preservation, or value. They were thinking about spending. They were thinking about daily life. And that is why survival is so rare, almost miraculous. The few coins that remain in fine condition today are not just old. They are defiant survivors of time, guardians of history, and priceless objects in the eyes of serious collectors. And this is where it gets truly extraordinary. In the current Australian collector market, the absolutely current and confirmed value for this exact 1978 Australian 5-cent coin in fine condition is $110,000. Yes, $110,000 for a single 5-cent coin. And this is not fiction. This is not speculation. This is the market speaking loud and clear. This coin is a rare jewel, a treasure you can literally hold in your hand, and an object that is gaining recognition every single day. Think about it. This coin survived more than 4 decades of use, was struck in an era when coins were not valued as collectibles, and now commands a price that makes it one of the most sought-after 5-cent coins in Australia. Collectors today understand something most people overlook. Rarity is not only about age, it is about survival, condition, and story. This coin tells a story of endurance, a story of time passing, yet some things refusing to be forgotten. It proves that value is not...
If you're a coin collector,
It proves that value is not always obvious at first glance. It proves that treasure can be hidden in the most ordinary seeming objects. If you ever come across a 1978 Australian 5-cent coin in fine condition, do not underestimate it. Do not clean it. Do not assume it is replaceable. Every mark, every detail, every ounce of its surface is proof that it defied time. This is why collectors pay attention. This is why serious collectors chase coins like this. Because they are not just holding metal, they are holding history, rarity, and a story that can never be repeated. The market for coins like this continues to grow. Every year, fewer fine condition examples remain. Every year, more coins are absorbed into private collections that rarely resell. Every year, scarcity drives interest, demand, and value higher. This coin is not finished. It is not done surprising the market. It is only just beginning to achieve the recognition it deserves. And remember, this is Big Bucks Coins, where we bring you fresh updates every single day, because the rarest and most valuable Australian coins are not just historical, they are alive in the market, evolving and waiting for the next collector to recognize their power. Sometimes the most unassuming coin in your hand is actually a giant among treasures.